What's up everybody, I'm Jesse Showalter and welcome back to this fourth and final video in a series about how to start using Sass today. Today's actually a really cool video because today we actually get to give CSS a brain. We're gonna give CSS a memory so it can draw from all of the different classes and code we've written before it. And we're also gonna make it do some math for us because you know what? I don't like doing math. Okay, first off, we're gonna talk about Selector Inheritance. Selector Inheritance is exactly what it sounds like. It's exactly what the word denotes. Sass is gonna create a way for selectors to inherit the properties of other selectors. And so that makes it really, really useful, especially in a use case like this. So if we jump to the screen, you can see I have some sort of messaging style that I want to create. That message style would be applied to lots of different styles, but there's probably some differences here. Like for instance, my success message probably has like a background of like green, right? Where my error probably has a background of red. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take that class of message and instead of it being a class, we're gonna replace it with a percentage character. And that denotes that that's an extendable kind of class within Sass. So if I save this right now, you can see over in my CSS, there is a success class, an error class, but there's no message class. Well, that's because in Sass, we chose to not make it a class, but instead make it an extendable element. So now what we can do is we can come into our success class and we can use the @ symbol, extend, and then it says, like even in VS Code, it knows we're using Sass. We want to inherit the styles of another selector. So we want to extend, in parentheses, message, okay? And we're gonna take that same style and we're gonna apply it to error. When I press Command S, you can see over in my CSS, it has created a kind of like dual selector where we're now affecting both the success and the error class, and it's applying that style onto both of them. So that's really, really nice. It's created its own kind of dual selector right there, and anytime I want to, add something to these, I only really need to add it in one place. And so that might be a little bit of a tweaking of how you think about writing CSS, but I think this is a lot better. It cleans things up quite a bit, and it allows you just to write things in a little bit more of a modular way. Okay, next up we're gonna be doing a little bit of math by using Sass operators, and that is basic math like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. This is actually a really easy way to do some pretty complex things using just Sass. For instance, if we jump into the code, you can see I have a div here and an article there, and maybe we wanna create some sort of like really simple fluid grid. We can do that. Maybe we wanna base it on the 960 grid. We can come in here and say, we want the width of this to be 300 pixels. That's gonna make it pretty absolute. There's no play, there's no give and take or responsive nature to that. So instead of pressing Command S and getting 300 pixels over there in the CSS, we could do something a little bit more complex. We could say we wanna divide that by 960 pixels, and then we wanna times the whole thing by 100%. Now if you look, we get 31.25%. That's actually how you convert a solid number into like a percent. So we can actually do the same thing over here and just take our article, and instead we want not 300, but let's make this one 600, and we will just divide that by 960 and times it by 100, and you'll see this one now becomes 62.5% width of the containing element. That's a pretty complex thing to do, but we can do things that are even a little bit more simple. We can say 20 pixels plus 10 more pixels. Like we can do basic math inside of CSS now, and that changes the game, I think, completely. Well, that's it. That's selector inheritance or extending, as well as doing some basic math operations inside of your CSS. It's awesome. There's so much potential there. There's so much you can do using Sass. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series. If you did, leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I do lots of videos about design and development and code, just like this series, so maybe stick around. I hope you guys are having a great week designing amazing things, coding amazing things, and using this newfound power of Sass to fight supervillains in your spare time. I'll see you in the next one.